Hello, eRank. Welcome to another live Q&A with me, Pam Duffy, and did I get the right side? Her Starling Moore.
I'm here this week.
I know, yeah.
It's
And
always
look,
a toss up.
glowing. The orange hair is glowing today.
Oh yeah, orange hair got re-oranged. So
Well, for Halloween, that's perfect. Yeah.
no, I'm very Etsy.
No, it's Halloween.
It's always Halloween. Hello, ladies, and Amy. Yeah, Amy's asleep back there. You can see her fuzzy
Oh,
butt. There's a lot of odd boxes and which way do I need to go? This way. There's boxes and all kinds of crazy stuff because Mark's building another computer, but he got like halfway through it and then realized he needed more parts, so now he's got to order more stuff. So it's just a mess here. It's crazy. It's madness.
it looks fine. It's all hidden by the chair.
It
We
is
just did a dog butt, and everything else is fine.
just a dog butt. But guys, um, feel free to get some questions in. Otherwise, Pam and I are not going to have a whole lot to talk about today because we had something exciting to share, and it got pushed back. So you guys got to wait again. That's how it goes, right?
Well, we did have if anyone missed it, we had a great live last week, sadly without Starla because she was off doing cool things with her kiddo. But Sean stepped in to show us what some of these cool things are going to be. So if you haven't seen it after this, you'll have to go and check it. And I have to say, did you catch any of it? Sean was really awesome.
No, I wanna catch that, and I also didn't get to see the Etsy investors report either. I haven't got. I mean, is it anything surprising? Has anything surprising happened, or is it exactly what we expected?
It's pretty much what we expected. And I don't blame them, showed up a big thing of how retail's been doing across the years, not just Etsy. And yeah, it follows went up a bit and now has gone down down a bit type trend. And yeah.
Yeah, I saw that GMS was down, but then Etsy's overall profits were up, and I'm just like, oh, so the sellers made less money, but Etsy
Yeah.
made more money.
What was interesting, their little graph of the breakdown of where they're making money, the money they're making from new shop opening is nearly as big as the money they're making from Etsy ads.
And that to me is especially crazy because a lot of these sellers will pay, and then within a few minutes they'll get suspended, and then they'll say, how did I get suspended? Did I, what happened? And then they'll try again, and they'll pay again, and they'll, okay, I did it, and then they'll get suspended again. And I'm wondering, I don't know, I'm wondering how long this can take place before
It's an
somebody.
interesting strategy, yes.
How long can this take place before somebody gets angry enough that they're willing to get loud about it? So obviously we all want Etsy to start paying a little bit more attention to sellers. And, I always say that people like Pam and I, we're not here for the big wigs at Etsy. We're not, wearing I Love Josh Silverman t-shirts. We are here for the sellers who make their living on Etsy, because ultimately when it comes to these, different handmade competitive marketplaces, or not handmade, if you're POD or digital or whatever, Etsy's still the best one. And that can't be disputed. Sure, you could sell on Amazon. Amazon is bigger than Etsy, but for the types of businesses that we run, and the time and the investment and how much it costs to get started and how much you're paying in fees and stuff, Etsy is still the cheapest. It's the easiest to set up. It's just, there's a lot that I think that Etsy knows is broken that they don't know how to fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so many pipes and wires, and I think that some of these wires have just gotten crossed. And really, what I think would be a good move for Etsy is to just acknowledge, like, hey, we know that there's some wacky stuff going on. Like, we're sorry if you're being affected by this wacky stuff. We're trying to fix this wacky stuff. But
Yeah. I a couple of weeks ago, I said in one of my lives, it was just one of these things that you say. And if I could not get sued, I would put it on a t-shirt. But it was just like, Etsy, you make it hard to love you. And that's pretty much where we're at just now. Like, yeah, we're here for you guys. And for as long as Etsy's the best, we'll do our best. But we feel your frustration. I'm going to say created by EJF, saying I made $27 in October. I have a confession, right? Brian was sticking up for me last week and saying wonderful things about how I'm busy with other things, but I lost my star seller this month because I didn't make enough sales. That's the first time ever. It's Christmas season. It's like, wow. I do have to. I'm trying to work a bit harder. I got lazy, but that was a wake up call. I've never not had enough sales.
And obviously no politics in the chat, but hopefully now that the election is over in the US, things start to pick up. I did a video on my channel talking, I actually presented the data for the last 2 elections, because if we go back past 8 years, internet shopping wasn't even that popular at the time. So that data, we've only got 2 data sets to even analyze that are significant, right? 2020 and 2016. Anything older than that, there were people who were too afraid to put their credit cards into online shopping. And now even, my mom works at a nursing home and she's got little old ladies, sitting in their beds ordering on Amazon straight to the nursing home. So shopping has become a lot more widespread, probably because of COVID. And, there was a point when we didn't have a choice but to order things online. So people have, learned that this is the standard now. And when we analyze these patterns of shopping, what, we notice is that worldwide commerce, not just Etsy and not just the US, I think that everybody holds a collective breath when the US is in the middle of their elections because they don't know, what's going to happen. And now that it's over, and everybody at least knows the outcome, what we will likely see and what we've seen in the last 2, presidential elections is e-commerce resumes back to normal. So all of these people who might have been waiting to do their holiday shopping or to start their gift shopping, because, money's obviously tight everywhere right now, but Christmas gifts have to be purchased. And some of the data that I had from Statista.com, when they paneled these consumers, the consumers basically said that even if I don't have the money, I will buy something if the deal is good enough. Like if there's a good deal, I'll shop, which is why, Pam and I every year around Black Friday, we say, make sure that even if you're not hosting a sale, make sure that you're optimizing for Black Friday, because this is the day when a lot of people are going to do a lot of their shopping. And I think that what we're going to see this year is these holiday shoppers, probably in the next week or so, they're going to start getting more comfortable with shopping. And we're probably going to see a lot more shoppers around that Cyber Week period, especially when Etsy starts sending those Cyber Week emails out for their events. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more people finally make those purchases, take advantage of some of those deals if, you're choosing to do them, because some of that uncertainty is, now gone. And now they've realized, oh crap, I can't wait anymore. I have to buy stuff for my kids. I have to get this Christmas shopping done.
Well, that's what Josh Silverman was asked in the Q&A at the end of the presentation about how things are going, and he refused to comment on how October's been, which I think was slightly telling, but did point out that Christmas is going to be late this year, Christmas shopping. Thanksgiving, so Cyber Monday and all that time, Black Friday, is as late as it can be this year. So we've got all of that. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel festive yet. I still feel I'm waiting for summer, sitting there going, hang on, we're in November. How did that happen? And I just put up a poll on my community tab on my own YouTube channel. And so far, 90% of the respondents aren't, and this is people who YouTube thinks are interested in Etsy type things, 90% are not shopping on Etsy this year. I mean, yeah, it's tough. People haven't started shopping yet, and they have plenty of other options to go and shop at with. So it's tough, but that's not to say that we can't make sales. The good thing from the presentation that I just remembered just now, the other two sites that are under the Etsy umbrella, that was Reverb and I forgot. Sorry, Depop, yeah. Depop have done really well. And that's the thing, if you are a small growing business in a difficult time, there's still room for you to grow. If you're as big as you can get, you're really going to hurt. But if your shops are little and still growing, you've got lots of extra people you can build your social media towards and stuff. You've still got some room to grow, so you could still do okay.
Yeah. And Jillian said Starbucks put out their holiday menu. Like, what? I'm not ready. Make it or make it cold first. We were first in line this morning to try the new Thanksgiving turkey and sage Danish. It was okay. It was all right. It was like turkey sausage on it. It was kind of off-putting. I was expecting like shredded turkey and that chestnut praline. But
savory Danish doesn't sound right.
It was pretty good. It was nice. I got that, and they do a sugar plum Danish, and the Danishes are kind of small.
That sounds good.
So
yeah,
I usually get one of each. I needed the sweet and the savory.
it's a full meal in a Danish. Sounds
exactly.
Good.
It's a whole Danish meal. Well, I don't eat lunch most of the time, so I overcompensated.
Sounds good.
Let's see. But yeah, it looks like a lot of people are sharing, a lot of the same things. Etsy's a catch-22 because there isn't another platform that I can sell on and gets many views, visits, and sales to my shop. But I wish Etsy would be more transparent with sellers, especially when we all know that there's some tomfoolery going around. Like, it's the thing is, obviously Etsy doesn't want everybody to know how disorganized they are right now. But I feel like when companies are really honest about their mistakes, yeah, a lot of people jump on those threads and they hate on them, but leaving people hanging and just not acknowledging that there are issues at all, I feel like most tech companies do that. They have at least on their Twitter, they'll make an announcement that oh, our site is down right now, or oh, we have a bug affecting these users. And I just feel like it's not something that Etsy they don't really do that at all, ever. I've never seen it, at least.
No, sadly not. My memory's terrible. It's just jumping up things just now. But did we all see the new Etsy ad that's just released a few days ago? And what's everyone's thought on that?
The Where's Waldo one?
I hate it less.
I hate it less, but it's still not Etsy. That's my biggest beef with all of these. The thing, I'm always a big fan, and HAA students all know this already, but finding your purple cow, Seth Godin's purple cow analogy. If you're driving, in the country, and you look out into a field and you see a bunch of cows, you're not really going to care. Oh, look, a bunch of cows. Like, you might look at the cows and be excited for a minute, but it's a bunch of cows. We've all seen a bunch of cows. But if you're driving and you're looking at that same field and you look out in the distance and one of those cows is purple, you're going to slam on your brakes. You're going to pull out your phone. You're going to text your mom. You're going to record a video, post it on TikTok. You're going to tell everybody about that purple cow. Finding your own purple cow in business is the way that you get people to talk about your brand so that you don't have to market it as hard. And the problem with Etsy is they've got a great purple cow. Their purple cow is the thing that pulls on the heartstrings. Do you remember that ad a couple years ago, Pam? And it was a gay couple, and the guy was taking his boyfriend home for Christmas, almost like it made it seem like he might be coming out to his family, or maybe the boyfriend was just nervous about being introduced as, a gay partner, just meeting parents for the first time and being nervous. And then they give him a gift and he unwraps it, and it's like a custom ornament with like their names on it or something. And then, it's just this really cute good feeling, definitely appeals to Etsy's primary demographic, and it was just such a heartwarming ad. And now they're doing like the weird French ad, and then the Where's Waldo. And I feel like they had such a good thing going that year that they were doing all these heartwarming ads. And that's not the only one. They did a bunch like that. That's just the one that it had so many views. And when I go, Pam, and I search in vidIQ, which is basically like an eRank for YouTube, where we find our keywords, and you search Etsy Christmas ad, black gay couple is like, one of the main keywords from people trying to find this ad to rewatch it because it was such a cute ad. So I'm sure this video has so many views. Why isn't Etsy creating more of these heartwarming stories? They could do some with like little kids getting all these tech presents and, just tossing them to the side, but then they get some cute handmade puzzle and they're actually like engaged with it and sitting on the floor and playing with it. And
that would fit in because the Where's Wally, Where's Waldo thing, the idea that it's supposed to be is that Etsy gets you. And I'm thinking, as you say that, everyone in the UK will probably know this if I say John Lewis Christmas ad. So John Lewis is a company in the UK, and every year they produce a real tear jerker of a Christmas ad, and everyone talks about it, and everyone is waiting for the John Lewis Christmas ad of the year to come out. Etsy could totally do that.
Yeah.
Another one, when you're talking a purple cow, I would almost just change that to Squatty Potty, pooping unicorn.
Oh, yeah.
That if you haven't seen that ad and you're on the internet, I'm very surprised.
That's the Harmon Brothers. They're some of the greatest like shock humor advertisers in the world. They've got a great book called From Poop to Gold, where they talk about their ad strategy. They really rely on things that make you say, what the heck is this? What is on my television right now? And, they do these very absurd ads, but everybody can recognize a Harmon Brothers ad. The purple mattresses were really big with Harmon Brothers ads as well. That is, the advertising agency. And for Etsy, like you said, it would take one ad per year. Do you guys remember that Campbell's Soup ad with the little boy and Let It Snow is playing? And you don't know it's a little boy. It's a snowman outside. And he comes in the house and then all the snow melts off of him as he sits down to eat his soup. And it's a little boy sitting there smiling.
Yeah.
That ad, Mark and I actually will sit on YouTube and we will turn on 90s commercials because those were the commercials that played when we were kids. So we'll find like an hour-long playlist of, things that we wouldn't have cared about. We would have been ticked off as kids when it interrupted our show to watch these ads. But we'll actually sit and watch an hour of 90s ads and 90s commercials just for the nostalgia and to do our marketing research and, to see how ads have evolved. And that's
there is whole YouTube channels of people reacting to old ads. It's brilliant.
Yeah. It's great.
We'll watch it because they used to make some really good ads. So,
and it's just one. You only need one banger per year. You don't, especially for the holidays. Etsy doesn't need to release a line and spend all this money advertising and recording all these crazy, insane ideas. They just need one really good one. And honestly, that Campbell's Soup ad, that sucker played for, I swear, I remember having like a new like flat screen TV and that ad was still playing on it. You know what I mean? And it looked all like film grainy because it was such an old ad, but they were still playing it because it's such an iconic ad. It's almost like sitting down and watching the original like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Which it's the same with the Squatty Potty. You've heard about it from the one side. Daryl Eves from YouTube was another guy behind that, and he talked about it all. And he said not only was it at the time, this was a few years ago, the biggest advert ever on Facebook, but every time their sales dropped for years, they just pushed that ad again. They didn't even need to make a new ad. They just went, let's pull out the unicorn again.
Yeah, that one in the poopery, the spray that you spray in your toilet water, and there was like the girl like in the toilet stall, like, sitting there. She was like talking about women being all cute and proper and stuff, but then she was just being absolutely foul, talking about like poop stinking and needing to use it was so funny. But obviously not every
marketing ideas, guys. I'm thinking, like, how many of you have either shared or had some of your friends share some of, it'd be like Shein or Wishes, their promoted adverts for you because it's something absolutely ridiculous has come up, and they absolutely did that on purpose. You would be like, oh look, that's a sweater that I would absolutely love, that's a dress that I would, that's a what for a what. Everybody, how did they think I would like this?
Exactly. It's funny. It makes people screenshot it and share it, and
but free advertising. So guys, if you can do adverts like that without being rude and getting your account banned, but if you can make things that you maybe pay for an ad, but someone screenshots and shares it with 200 of their friends, you're getting extra views for the price of one ad.
Yeah, one of my favorite ads that I do for Handmade Alpha Academy is it's a picture of me with a big bug and it says I'll eat a bug. And of course, with no context, you're like, what? I'll eat a bug. And then you read the caption. That's my favorite form of advertising on social media, is you use a photo that is confusing. And I actually got that idea. Oh man, I really wish I could remember what book it was from. One of the marketing books that I read, they were talking about how Volkswagen, when they first started advertising the Beetle, which is unrelated to the I'll eat a bug. I'll get into why I do that in a minute. But when they first started advertising the Beetle to consumers, they wanted to advertise how tiny it was. So they did an ad, and they took out a full page in a magazine, but then they had, just all white space, and then they had the little tiny Volkswagen like up in the corner. So you had this, they paid for a full page ad, which obviously that's going to probably be way more expensive than, a tiny little circle or a little square. But they paid for the full page ad just to have that teeny tiny little Volkswagen so that they could advertise how tiny their car is. And without that context and, reading underneath that, you might not understand, but it makes people stop and say, what? So that
it's absurd. A pattern interrupt, isn't it? You've got everything screaming at you, and then there's nothing. What's that?
Right. Yeah. Why is it so tiny? Is this a misprint? But for me, I'll eat a bug. The reason that I do that is I always tell this story about one of my students now, they were planning on joining my coaching program, but they had been burned by other coaches in the past, I think was the story. And I said something like, if you get inside and it is not everything that you've hoped for, I'll eat a bug. And this was a private email communication with this individual, but I'm like, if it's sleazy like these other coaches promote, I will eat a bug. I will eat a bug on camera. And then she, it was an ongoing joke with me and her, because she's like, I'm so glad you didn't need to eat that bug. I loved AJA. So now I tell that story in my marketing, but it's just a picture of me and it says, I'll eat a bug. And people love that ad. I've also got one.
It's true, and it gets people to double take and be like, you what?
Right. And I've got another one that says, we're out of underwear. You've probably seen that one where I'm sitting beside a clothes basket and it says, we're out of underwear. But that one is explaining more about like how we can't keep the program open all year round because we are actually two people. And when enrollment is open, we run out of underwear because I don't do any laundry because I don't have time for anything else. So, just these absurd little ways that you advertise your product and make people stop. Like Pam said, that pattern interruption, it can have a huge impact. And it's not going to work for every brand. But there are creative ways to do it. And I think that right now is a great time to start experimenting with ads like that, or do a little bit of research or check out that book that I mentioned, the Harmon Brothers, From Poop to Gold.
Yeah. I suppose what we're saying with a lot of this is find an emotion or something as well. Tug at the heartstrings, make people laugh, make them say, what the heck? Something like that is is what you're looking for, and then build that into your brand.
Exactly.
Absolutely. We did have a couple of questions from
Yes.
Facebook. I nearly forgot this, guys, but
Oh,
every week I should be posting. If you're not in the Facebook group, there's a link in the description of this video. And every week in advance, I post a little post there. You can get your questions in advance in case we're super busy or forget or lose the chat or something. There's always a place to ask your questions.
do you have those on? Linda, I did see yours about the money back thing. I just didn't want you to think that I'd forgotten you. Do you need me to pull those up, or do you have?
I've got the questions.
Oh,
Yep, I'm good
okay.
to go. Well, Catherine asked, first of all, I'm sure I used to have 2 Etsy shops linked to my free eRank account, but now it says I have to upgrade my plan to add a second shop. Is this right? And ooh, I've got too many screens open. And yes, oh, that screen. Yes, I'll show you hitting the right button. Here are our plans for eRank. If you're ever not sure what you get in any of your plans, sometimes our team look at the usage that everyone's using things for, and maybe we'll tweak quotas and everything. So I can't 100% say if you had more than one shop connected or something on your free account. I don't know if that's changed, but we can see here for a free account, you can have 1 shop connected, for basic up to 5 shops, for pro up to 10 shops, and expert up to 100 shops. The whole idea here is, your free accounts to help get you started for your small sellers and everything in 1 shop, and sort of lower quotas to get you started. And then as you grow, bigger sellers, basic should cover that. As you get bigger and bigger, pro. So that's the idea there.
Yeah, it's not that we're meanie butts, but in order to make some of these new tools and to do everything that we do, we did have to hire more people. And we went from, what was our initial team, Pam? It was me and you and Jan and Debbie. Is that it? Was that all? And Anthony, was that all of us?
Yeah, we had a few other behind the scenes guys.
Yeah, like Randy, our actual dev team. But now we have like 40 people?
We have a lot of people. Yeah, I don't think any of us know them all. We're talking to Brian about certain thing, and I'll mention Michelle, and he's like, "We have a Michelle? No, we've got a couple of Michelles." Yeah, but yeah, we don't know who everybody is, and we don't know what everybody does. Basically,
well, yeah,
I still don't have a job title. I'm just Pam.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm manager of customer success.
Oh, so guys, if you're success, then that's because of Starla. She managed it.
I managed that. But okay, let's see.
We'll have to make up a title for me. so chat, think of something for me. And don't ask me what I do, because I've got no idea.
All right, were there any more from the group?
A couple more, yep. Line Christensen, I'm wondering if it's possible to see other Etsy shops from my country on eRank. On the front page, it states that my sales rank national is 626. Well done. I'm from Denmark, so I'm curious about what the other 600 plus shops are doing. And yes, you absolutely can on eRank see the other shops. I need extra screens. So on eRank, if you go to competitor research, top sellers on Etsy, you can, didn't know this, guys, I'd make the screen bigger. You can pick the country. So what did you say? Denmark. That's not too far down the alphabet. If you pick Denmark, you can see the top sellers in Denmark to see what the people all above you are doing. I bet you this isn't going to load because I'm live just now, is it?
You're using too much computer juice.
I'm using too much computer juice. Yeah, I'm just going to refresh that because I'm impatient. Oh, I'm going to refresh that again. I need another new computer. Anyway, okay, let's find Denmark again. Can I type this in? That would be much easier. Yay. So find us Denmark, but then you can see the top countries in the top shops in your country. Okay, why is that not loading? I have no idea. The other things you can do is you could narrow down to the categories or even the year the shop opened. So you could look at, this is typical when we're live, isn't it? Let's pick a different country. Bangladesh, there we go.
Well, I know that something's messed up because the top sellers on Etsy font is definitely not our brand font.
I was just impatient. It seems to have loaded something anyway. So anyway, if you wait, then you can see the things, and then you're about to see the top shops. You can pick the categories they're in, or even the year that they opened. Here we go. I've got Bangladesh now. I was just being impatient. But yeah, so you can see, and that's sales of all time, or then pick all time for the year that your shop opened if you want, or for the category that you're in. It's super fun to be able to see all of that. And yeah, Anthony will be sitting here going, Pam, just wait for us to load stuff. Stop refreshing pages.
It's hard to show things off while you're also live. Yeah, it takes a lot of computer juice to go live. All right.
Yes, we have one more question, or did you want to get the one from chat? Let's get the one from chat, and then we'll circle back.
Yeah, Linda's question is great because it is one that I've heard a lot in my community. I'm wondering about Etsy's big push on get it on time or your money back thing. Are they covering late packages, refunds? So from what I understand, Etsy's going to cover that cost for you.
Probably. Yes. I just did a big video on this like a couple of weeks ago. This is the purchase protection program.
Right.
Etsy will cover it if your items are eligible. And to be eligible, there's a whole criteria. First things first, on the run up to Christmas, they have increased the cap to $500. So if your sale is less than $500, then that's one part eligible. If it's over $500, Etsy will still refund the customer, but they'll refund it out of your money. So be aware. The other things are you have to ship it on time. You personally, you have to either use Etsy labels if they're available, or have tracking and enter the tracking into your Etsy order. It's no good afterwards saying I had tracking, I just didn't tell you. If you don't have tracking or haven't used Etsy labels, if the item is late and the customer opens a case about it, Etsy will refund. And again, it'll be out of your money. Other things, up to their discretion, but if something's damaged in the mail, they will also refund, and likely they will only cover one of them. If you keep getting things damaged in the mail, Etsy won't cover that. They'll take the money from you, which makes sense. If you're whatever shipping company you've chosen is kicking your items about, or you've not packaged it very well, that's on you. So yeah, check the criteria for the Etsy purchase protection program. Etsy they are promising this, and there's nothing we can do if it turns up late and the customer opens a case. Etsy will refund them because they've promised this. We have to make sure we're eligible, else Etsy will refund it from our money, which is an absolute pain.
But they're increasing that up to $500 as opposed to the $250.
Yes,
they previously.
So it's a little better, but it really annoys me, and I worry for the big item sellers. You make tables, wedding dresses, these kind of things. I kind of feel at the minute in time till Etsy fixes this, even really good insurance won't help you, because if Etsy automatically refund it, but your shipping company delivered it on time for them, then you won't get your insurance back. So I almost feel if you've got a really big ticket item, Etsy's possibly not the place for you just now, because it's too big a risk, in my opinion, for a $2,000 item, and the customer can just go, "Oh, it was half a day late. I want my money back." And the customer doesn't have to return the item to you or anything. This is Etsy's guarantee on our behalf.
It's stupid. It's like which was it Pizza Hut or Domino's, where it's like it's 30 minutes or less or it's free. Like these aren't $20 pizzas. These could potentially be enough to put somebody in the hole several $1,000s. It's
exactly. And a lot of these big ticket things are the kind of thing we want to have on Etsy. These are really handmade things. I'm not saying, I don't want to say like, oh, certain things aren't handmade enough, but like a $10,000 hand sewn wedding dress. Yeah, I want people to be able to come on Etsy that make things like that, but no. Just now, probably not the best. Right, final question. Oh, good, eh? Joan, how much search volume is considered a good search volume for a keyword on Etsy, and what is considered a good conversion rate?
There's no answer.
Yes, that's my mum's one, is how long's a piece of string? What's a good search volume? There isn't. There isn't. Finding a keyword that you can rank for, that's very relevant for what you make, that your item shines against the competition. I would almost say it's kind of better to find something that 10 people are searching for a month and find 13, 20 keywords like that, rather than find one that 1 million people are searching for a month, but there's masses of competition and your item's not all that relevant for. And with conversion, the industry average is supposed to be somewhere around 2%. But if you sell $1 pins, that's likely to have a higher conversion, because that's a pop into your basket and don't think about it. If you sell $10,000 wedding dresses, people are likely to have to keep coming back to your shop, showing it to their friends, showing it to people, come back, go away, think, check reviews. So their conversion will be way, way lower, but they only have to sell one to probably get most of their bills paid for the year, kind of thing. So
yeah,
sadly, no right answer.
I get that search volume question almost every single day on my channel anymore. And it's hard to tell someone that there's no answer to their question, but it's akin to walking into the doctor's office and saying, what's wrong with me, doc? Well, the doctor isn't just going to know what's wrong with you if they haven't, analyzed you or, checked your vitals and things like that. There are a lot more, factors that play into success on Etsy than just how many people are searching for a specific keyword. And Pam and I frequently talk about how sellers who have already achieved success on Etsy, it's easier for them to rank for higher competition keywords. In my very first shop, I was a 1% Etsy seller. I made 6 figures on the platform. I had thousands of sales, and all of my products were very expensive. And in that shop, I didn't have an issue using high competition keywords because Etsy was more likely to rank me even if the listings were new and even if the competition was high, because they knew that customers were satisfied with my items and that I had a lot of sales. And they knew that I was a safe bet, because they knew that if somebody found one of my items, say on page 1 of a search page, they were very likely to buy it. Whereas in my new shop, I'm appealing to a very small niche. There are a lot of competitors within my niche, and my shop is new. And because of that, I have to be a little bit more conscious of the keywords that I use. And I have to actually spend a little bit more time analyzing things like those competition rates and search volumes to make sure that I'm actually able to achieve, some level of ranking. So really it's about experimenting and using a combination of both. I like to use, those keywords that have lower competition because there's not as many searches. But I know that I'll be able to rank for them. And then I like to include in a couple of those keywords that have really high competition and a lot of searches that I'm probably not going to be able to rank for right now. But maybe with time, as long as I keep telling Etsy, I want to be known for this set of keywords, maybe in time I'll start ranking for those keywords as I start making sales and, establishing my business a little bit more. And I always use the analogy of like having a pair of gold jeans in your closet where they don't fit right now. Like every time you try to squeeze into them, you can't even get them up your thighs, but you keep them because someday you want to fit into that pair of jeans. Someday I want to fit into some of these higher to rank for keywords. So I'm going to keep using them in my listings.
Yeah, I think I have to mention this because I'm contractually obliged to throw this into every video. I'm not, I'm joking, but it's the whole, if you're setting out to become an actor and you have decided that you really, really want the role of Aquaman, so you go to an interview or a casting for Aquaman and Jason Momoa is sitting next to you, doesn't matter what he says or does. He has the keyword authority on Aquaman. He is Aquaman. You are going to have to take much smaller roles, prove yourself to be a good actor before you start getting the big roles. And that's kind of what we're doing with Etsy, is we're proving ourselves. And that's me got my mention of Jason Momoa into one video. So we're all good.
I'm going to, I'm using that analogy later in the month because I'm going to be doing my Etsy ranking live stream where I do Greg in the dating show. So that'll be fun. Let's see. When you live in another country like Morocco, I'm assuming is it hard to reach the people on social media like the US or so on social media, it's not so much region specific the way that Etsy is. Really with social media, it's about, for one, making sure that you're on the platforms where your primary demographics are hanging out. So having an understanding of your ideal target audience, and then understanding the type of content that performs well on these platforms. It's not just posting, pictures of products. We can't try to take a social media page like an Instagram account and turn it into a virtual catalog. It just doesn't work like that. People aren't there to shop. It's social media, not marketing media. So if you are advertising on social media, understanding those demographics and understanding the types of content that perform well are going to be essential for getting those pieces of content to, actually get seen by the correct demographics. And honestly, I mean, it's not going to be something that most people are just going to be able to start without doing any research first. Social media algorithms are all completely different depending on the platform. I'm most familiar with Instagram because it's my favorite and it's the one that I spend the most time on. But the strategies that you use for Instagram versus Pinterest are going to be completely different because those algorithms are different and the type of users are different and what they expect on those platforms are different. Similar to, content on Pinterest is different than TikTok, right? We know what to expect when we get on TikTok. It's, sometimes it's funny, it's crazy, you want to keep watching, you want to see what happens next. And that's the type of content that performs well on that platform. It's that grabby, attention grabbing content where you have to stay interested. Otherwise, you can easily scroll right past it. So is it hard to reach the right people on social media? Only if you don't understand who those primary demographics are. And only if you've not spent the time researching the type of content that's going to perform well for your industry by analyzing competitors who also sell within that industry. I believe you said that you sell Moroccan rugs. So just posting a bunch of pictures of rugs probably isn't going to grab a lot of attention. Now, one of my favorite rug companies is Ruggable, and they've got a really cool rug where it lays on top of like a Velcro pad, and you can pull the whole rug up off the Velcro pad and wad it up and toss it in your washing machine. So when I see ads by Ruggable, they're purple cow, like we talked about previously. The thing that makes them special is that you can, they show videos of women, pulling that rug up, that dirty rug, and wadding it up into a ball and throwing it into the washing machine and then pulling it out all fresh and new and laying it back down. And that's interesting. That's, wow, what is she doing? What's she doing with that rug? Like, there's no way that's going to fit in the washing machine. Oh, it did. So that's the thing that they found that works for them. What is it about your rugs that people are interested in? What is it about your rugs that
I can tell you exactly what the purple cow is there, because I was going to say, if you're somewhere like Morocco, if you do generic print on demand, you've got nothing special. And I was going to say, before you said rugs, if you do something specific like Moroccan rugs, show that you're in Morocco making Moroccan rugs. That's your purple cow. You are somebody in the place making the thing that people know from that place. Basically, Moroccan rugs are famous, like world famous. So that's your thing. It's no harder than everybody else, and it's a little bit easier because you've got an authority in that people like to buy certain things from certain countries, that certain places are known.
Products.
Yes. So show you are in Morocco making Moroccan rugs. Show us beautiful places in Morocco and things. Absolutely.
Especially, I tell you what, especially here in the US, I always talk about the sun catcher I bought for Mark's grandma last year. It was from a Ukrainian seller. And, I could have just bought her any sun catcher and said, here, here's a cool sun catcher for Christmas. But I gave it to her and I left the business card in there with the Ukrainian flag. And, it said, thank you for supporting our business. And when I gave it to her, I said, this is from a Ukrainian woman who makes these by hand. And that increased the perceived value of that product, because it went from just being a sun catcher to being a Ukrainian sun catcher, where not only did buying it support this family in Ukraine, but it added a layer of an interesting fact. And now when she shows that sun catcher, when we go over for the holidays and people, oh, your sun catcher's pretty, she always tells that story. Oh yeah, this was made by, a Ukrainian woman. And that became a part of the item. So even if you don't feel like your country is like, when you live somewhere, it's probably not like, oh, like how cool the culture, because you're used to it. But when you're from somewhere else, especially in the US, where the thing that,
yeah, we're all exotic, guys. If you're not in the US, we're wonderfully exotic until Stella visits and then realizes that no, we're really not.
It's all very interesting to us. So I would try to incorporate, some of that, that cultural aspect into your brand and marketing, because that's the thing that could be the purple cow, especially when I assume that there's a heck of a lot more shoppers in the US than there are going to be shoppers in Morocco. Obviously, if you're in Morocco and you're advertising it, people who are also in Morocco aren't going to be your primary demographic.
Exactly. Yeah, probably people in Morocco who want to buy a Moroccan rug probably know where to go to get one.
Exactly. Yeah. And a suggested CFO McFuzzy lugs. Let's see. Okay. Linda had asked about the returns, or the get it on time or your money back thing. Do customers have to open a case? Yes, for the share and save.
Yes, the process is they have to message you under I need help with an order. Yes. And then that in 48 hours, then that lets them open a case. Mm-hmm. And then Etsy will usually immediately refund the case. I will say in the past few weeks, I've been getting reports of Etsy automatically declining cases. This is a new thing. It seems they're catching some of the spammers. They're seeing, and this is a good thing, they're seeing customers who are doing this a lot and they're going, no, you're at it. So you'll get a message to say, Etsy have decided to close the case. The customer's not getting anything. You've done nothing wrong. Forget about it. But otherwise, Etsy will automatically usually pretty quickly close the case, and they'll say, we've decided this is the thing, we are paying the customer this much, it's not coming out of your funds, or it is coming out of your funds. If they take the money out of your funds and you feel they were wrong, sometimes, you know, the item has just turned up or something, or you have proof that it's turned up, message Etsy, and usually you can get them to give you your money back if you kick up a bit of a fuss. Etsy's very much going on the strategy of do something and then beg forgiveness rather than check things out. So they'll close the case and take your money and then expect you to go back and shout at them.
Yes. Very professional business model.
Well, I'm assuming that, but it's going from the earlier in the year when Josh said when they're seeing listings that have been duplicated, like in AliExpress, they're automatically closing the Etsy listing down. He knows that there's some people who've had their listings copied the other way and they're not wrong. So they want you to contact Etsy and tell them that it's wrong. So that is one of their policies. I understand why they've done it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Just assume everyone's wrong and shut their shop. It's not a good way to do it.
Lori, can you talk about Etsy's membership program that's offering free shipping, even if the shop does not offer free shipping? I've had several sales with this, but the shipping hasn't been refunded. Ooh.
This is the Etsy Insider program. It's a invite-only beta. Etsy one of the perks, if you're invited as a buyer, you have to pay a monthly membership program like Amazon Prime or something, and Etsy should be covering the shipping. So if someone buys from that, you should see you'll get your full price, and it'll say was free shipping for the customer. I can't remember. I've seen how it's done. But the customer should get free shipping, and you should still get the money for the shipping. So if it hasn't been refunded, if you haven't got the money and your customer hasn't had free shipping, then message Etsy. But it has to have been someone who's in the program. It's not everybody.
All right, let's see. How do we change our category under our shop stats in shop info?
On eRank, you can't. Etsy doesn't give us a category. eRank just looks at your latest listings and sees what category they're in, and we estimate a category. It's not perfect. It's the best way we can do things. So no, I was going to tell you so you can change your category by listing some other things, but no, that's a terrible strategy. Don't change your Etsy shop just to look better on eRank. The category is not an important thing. It's not a thing that Etsy's looking at. It was just something to help us be able to group things so you can roughly find competitors. Unfortunately, it's not something we get from Etsy. They don't give us that. Oh, Linda, her aspirational jeans since 1980. I hear you.
I wasn't born yet.
Oh, childling.
little baby. Let's see. Sprouted Dreams. Etsy's still bored. They emailed me about a listing saying to update it with new keywords or pics. I couldn't find any issues. All 10 pics, video, and a handmade item with my own good images. Ignore. I think they just send those emails like as a, hey, if don't have anything better to do, check, maybe update this. Like, just ignore it.
Yeah. That is for anything. Etsy's mail outs, Etsy's suggestions, or whatever else. If it's a listing that's doing really well, ignore it. Yeah. If it makes sense, if you look at it and go, oh, what a good idea, go for it. But yeah, none of Etsy's advice is. It's based on generic, here's what we see across the whole of the platform. It's not specific to this will work for your shop and your customers right now. So if it makes no sense, absolutely ignore it. And do you know that goes for eRank as well? If we make any suggestions, if you've seen the listing audit or anything, if it doesn't make sense for you, it's your bestseller or whatever, ignore it. Ignore any advice that doesn't work. If you're working on some of your underperforming listings, go in and have a look and see if the advice makes any sense.
That goes for everything. That goes for run. There goes the dog too. I'm assuming the package is being delivered. We've got a front door cam. Yep, there he goes. Anyway, let's see. Well, oh God, I lost my train of thought in that thunderous. Oh, that the same goes for YouTube. If you're watching YouTube videos, even if they're from Pam and I, and it doesn't fit your business model, unless we say like, this is an Etsy rule, you have to do this, you don't have a choice, like you will get shut down if you don't do this, unless it is one of Etsy's rules. If we make a suggestion and it doesn't fit your specific business model, then you don't have to do it. I mean, we have to, just like Etsy, just like eRank, we have to give suggestions that are going to be beneficial to the majority of sellers. But sometimes that doesn't include little fringe cases. And a lot of times those outliers will be vintage sellers, digital sellers, the ones that we don't see as many of. I don't know, digital sellers. You guys are usually pretty good at knowing that you don't need to go outside and photograph your products, things like that. But a lot of the things that Pam and I talk about, they don't necessarily work for one-of-a-kind items. When we talk about listing quality scores and making repeatable products that sell over and over, well, if you've got if you're selling vintage items, you don't really have the ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's an interesting thing with advice from people, is that this is just a personal thing I've had from when I've paid and been working with some gurus and things. I've always found the advice that sort of hurts the most, that I'm the most reluctant to do, is the stuff that I should do, just as long as it's not illegal or whatever. But if someone says something and I'm really getting angry about it, that's the thing that I need to, that's the thing that I should be changing. It's really weird how your mind works.
Well, I think that's the end of questions. We're down to our last 2 minutes. Let's end it with Debbie's, where she says that let's see, she was born in the 50s, so we're all babies to her. Oh, and Linda said, Debbie, I have genes older than Starla. I always get the comment, wise for your years. I hear that. That's like one of the main comments I get on YouTube, wise for your years. But I've been hearing wise for your years since I was like, I remember being in middle school, having teachers say, you're very wise for your years.
Oh, I have never got told that.
Oh, everybody tell Pam that she's wise for her years right now.
I've got a lot of years, people. So I don't think I've got that much wisdom.
You are very wise. That's why all of our comments are always, I only listen to Starla and Pam.
That's true. You guys are amazing.
Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We appreciate you so much. Hopefully our magical grand announcement that we keep teasing will be out soon. But if not, there's some more announcements in last week's
video. You'll get a sneak peek of some of the things that's coming, and give us feedback. Let us know the good and the bad of what you see coming, because it's not out yet, we might be able to tweak things even. Yeah, we might be able to push it back even further by us having loads of great ideas about it. Like we've never done that before.
Only every announcement ever.
Yep.
But we love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.